This is a very exciting day, and before we get started, there's a couple of thank yous I want to give out. First to our ownership group, Joe and Clara Sy, Holly Weisberg, Rich Tao. These are people that really believe in the New York Liberty, and they believe in what we're building. It's not a coincidence that this press conference is taking place at Barclays Center, our new home. It's the best building in the WNBA, and it's a place and a home that our fans, our players, and certainly our coaching staff are very much going to enjoy this coming season. So thank you for continued belief in us. I also want to thank you, the media. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your coverage. What you do is vitally important to not only growing the New York Liberty, but women's basketball as a whole. Time and time again, you find great stories to tell. And so please continue doing so, and we're eternally grateful for that. Coaching searches are difficult. And coaching searches are difficult because there are numerous qualified candidates. And you need to take the requisite time to not only get it right, but to find the right fit for your situation. And I have no doubt that we have that in Walt Hopkins. For those of you that don't know Walt, Walt's a genius, and he won't admit that he's a genius because he has this humble confidence about him, but he's a person of character. This is a person with high basketball intellect, and he's a strong leader. This is an elite level communicator, character builder, relationship builder. He sets standards and holds people accountable while leading with positivity. And these are all fundamental characteristics of building a championship level culture. Walt's track record as a player developer is unquestioned. This is somebody that helps to make good players great and great players elite. And that's something we definitely took into consideration when we first sat down with Walt. And lastly, before we turn it over, this is somebody that is going to get out in our community. He's going to shake hands with our neighbors. He's going to let them know who the New York Liberty are and what we're about as we make this transition in Brooklyn. So I could not be more excited to welcome Walt Hopkins to the New York Liberty. And with that, I'd like to introduce him as the 8th head coach in franchise history. Walt.
Thank you all very much. That pretty much says it all. I think I'm done, so any questions? No, I want to start with thank yous as well. Everybody in this organization has been so warm, welcoming, and absurdly talented. So to get to sit down with everybody, including Jonathan, Kia, Ollie, Joe, everybody I've gotten to work with so far has given me a lot of hope for the direction and the foundation that's already been built here. So I think for me, one of the main focuses is going to be settling in and giving everybody agency to do what they do best. I think be that players, staff, operations, everybody. I think everybody here is going to be really, really talented already. So the main job of my position is going to be just to make sure that they're all in a position to succeed. So starting with that, also thanking Minnesota for everything that I've gotten from them, thanking Cheryl Reeve for giving me the opportunity that has led to this, and thanking all the players and the fans in Minnesota, because it's just been a great 3 years there, and it's bittersweet to leave, almost as bittersweet as exciting as it is to come here. New York in particular is special to me because I have New York roots. My dad he was born in Brooklyn. So it's there's a familiarity to the area and to the people. There's a pace here. There's an energy to the way people communicate that's really familiar to me. It feels like home. And so of all the places I've been in the last 5 or 6 years, Brooklyn in particular kind of has a special connection with me. So the fact that this opportunity was available to me with this team, this group of people setting it up, it just couldn't be more special and more perfect. And I think the fit being such an important part of when you make these decisions. it's not just, that as an assistant coach, you're going to jump at the first head coaching job you get. I think maybe that's the way some people do it. I didn't have any need to do that because I had a great situation in Minnesota. I was learning from one of the best coaches in history. This opportunity came up, and the more that I talked with the people in charge here, the more that I sat down and worked out how I would use this roster, how I could maximize the people that were already here, it was quickly apparent that this was the job, that this was the one place that I really wanted to be. So I think with that, I'm open to questions and hearing what everybody has to say. Cheryl in particular, her level of preparation is elite. It's the best I've ever seen, the best I've ever been around. She works harder than anyone I've ever been around. And James is kind of the same ilk. I think that scouting preparation in particular with Cheryl has been that was the main thing that I learned, skill that I learned that I feel like maybe needed to be sharpened when I got there. And it's probably her strongest coaching attribute that I've seen. I think additionally, she's a really good leader of people. She's really good at motivating. She has a phrase that you get what you accept. And that's something I've said before, that it's really stuck with me. It's in personal relationships, in business. It rings really true to me. James is a really fun person to be around, a really, really good coach, and a good relationship builder. So I think that we kind of hit it off in that regard really quickly. He's a good developer, he's a good teacher. And it's been a situation where pretty much everywhere I've gone, there's been a myriad of lessons that I've gotten to learn. And I think that those were two of the people that have definitely been instrumental in my development. There's so many more.
You'll have the #1 pick first time in franchise history. And Walt, you mentioned that, scouting and things of that nature are some of the things that you feel that you can bring to the table. Of course, with that #1 pick, everyone wants to know what you're both thinking about, and particularly how the franchise will move forward to do some of that recruitment and to really scout what's coming out of the NCAA, the college level.
Yeah, I'll start. For us, we're hitting the road together. We're going to be scouting everything and being very thorough. There's names out there that people know about, but we need to get it right, just like this coaching search, and we're very confident we did there. So we will be doing our homework. As Walt said, no one's going to outwork us. We will get this right, and we're excited about the possibility. Having a #1 pick, it's a huge blessing, and we're excited to get to work.
Yeah, another thing that I got to learn from Cheryl was the level of attention to detail she puts into scouting for the draft. I think you've seen that in her draft picks and in our draft picks while I was there. So I've already been on the road because when I was still a Lynx assistant up until a few days ago. So I've been on the road scouting already. I've gotten to watch a lot of the players who would be available for both the Lynx and the Liberty in the positions they are for the draft. So it's going to be an extensive bit of research because it's not a decision we take lightly. We know that this could be a franchise shaper, if you do it right. So we're definitely going to do our homework.
Walt, a question for you. So Jonathan spoke a little bit earlier about your ties to the community, and the New York Liberty is an organization that prides itself on supporting and immersing itself into its communities, helping people in need, while also being facilitators of difficult socio-political discussions. So is this something you're looking forward to, and how are you looking forward to supporting Liberty staples like its Unity Day and more of the organization's philanthropic and activist-oriented goals and events? Yeah,
it's something that I've always looked forward to. As I've got to the point in my career where I thought, hey, head coaching might be a possibility for me. It always seemed like a really, really big dream, and then for it to be happening, it's really exciting that I get to do those things and I get to actually initiate some of those conversations, that I can be willing when I'm asked to do these types of things. I think a lot of coaches that I've talked to over the years, I have friends all over on the men's and women's side, and some people really see that as more of a burden. I see it as something that I'm actually really excited about, something that I look forward to doing, and I want to be in market as much as I possibly can to do those things, and we have a lot of work to do to grow this game, and I think that the more on the ground, face-to-face interaction that we can have, the better.
Really exciting time to be in New York and in the WNBA.
I will just say, if you are fined for talking about one of your own players, I will pay the fine.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You should see how many memos they send us about don't. I'm like, okay, I won't.
I am sure, but specifically to this roster, just when you think through how you want it to go next year, I mean, at this point, is it your hope that it is centered around Tina?
Yeah, look, Tina Charles is one of the best players in the world, regardless of position. We're very fortunate to have Tina. Without getting too deep, we have to see what the CBA says, but there's no question about that.
And building this team, you know, we talked a little bit about the guards are the ones you mentioned first, right? And this was a team near the bottom in terms of turnover percentage, especially at point guard. Do you see that development specifically as something where, you know, Walt, who's not just done it in Minnesota, but, you know, worked with Leisure, has done a lot of work on that side of things as a key area of improvement?
Absolutely. So we need the ball. We can't be giving up easy points, and that's something that we're really focused on. Walt's skill set as a developer, specifically with guards, is a major pull for us, so we're excited.
You came from the league. How important do you think it is for the team that's, you know, in New York to be strong? I mean, to be a good team, not just because you work here, but, you know, from the women's basketball standpoint.
Oh, I think it's huge. I think it's huge because of the fan base. There are so many people that want to come to our games, but they need a quality product to root for. So it's vital, and I think that we can be the forefront of the league. The hope is that not only to be immediately successful, but I've said this many times, we want to be sustainable. If we could ever emulate what Minnesota has in terms of constantly being a contender, whether it's playoffs or championship or otherwise, that's what we need. And I think it's vital for the league to continue to grow that New York is one of the best organizations around.
How big is that pool as of right now?
Oh, it's still expanding. We're looking at everybody. You know, it's really hard also when you have underclassmen that could come out. You have no idea. So we really cover everybody. Walt and I just started those conversations. So, you know, as it goes, there's a lot of season to play. And I always said that. I think it's interesting the way our draft lottery is set up as opposed to other professional sports where you have a whole collegiate season. It's a blessing and a curse in a way. But we're excited to continue research.
And I guess just to that end, how helpful would it be to have a league-wide combine, and how realistic do you think that is as something that the league needs to move to in the near future? Just have basic information about the players.
You know, it's an interesting point. It's been talked about before. They did have it before. The problem that the NBA has is, are the top players showing up? Are they providing that data? We have our sometimes agents that get involved and they don't want their players to be there. So you need to make sure that the cost, and it would be substantial, is worthwhile. But that's definitely a league decision. It matters who shows.
One more question.
WNBA, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Going back to this idea of the international players that were on the 2019 roster, how do you think Walt's skill set will help sort of with this cultural sensitivity, this international difference of cultures? How do you see that factoring in?
It'll only help, but I've got to be honest, that team last year is really tight. Basketball, I said this, is a universal language, and I think we saw that with Han. She's somebody that her energy was palpable. The fans rooted for her the moment she got up off the bench. In fact, sometimes I think they yelled before she got up off the bench. And we love that, but our players were really rooting for her. If you go back and watch tape when she scores her up, and same thing for Marine. Those players bond together over their differences, and what will only help with that. I think that's pretty evident.
Do you think that Tina Charles, she deserves... No, it was just like she deserves a statue, to have like a statue, like
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Listen, I don't even know what to say. Sure, I would like everyone wants statue. No, but listen, Tina's a legend. Tina's a legend in New York, and I told Tina this a year ago when I was hired around this, that Tina Charles is New York basketball, men or women. So.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.